Welcome, welcome, everybody. This is our regular meeting of the Hamilton County Board of County Commissioners, February 20th, 2025. We have an esteemed group of people here with us today to help celebrate Black History Month. And so thank you in advance for all of you being here, those of you that are being recognized, those of you that are in support of those being recognized. We welcome you to our board meeting here today. And we are going to get to that at the top of the agenda. But before we start that, we generally open our meetings with an introduction of folks on the dais. So Christy, we'll start with you.
Christy Rischel, Assistant Clerk.
Leslie Hervey, Clerk to the Board.
Stephanie Summer-Odumas, Commissioner.
Alicia Reese, Hamilton County Commissioner.
Jeff Aludo, County Administrator.
Patrick Dressing, Assistant Prosecuting Attorney.
And I'm Commissioner Denise Driehaus. So we do also start our meetings with silent prayer and the Pledge of Allegiance. So please join us in silent prayer. Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Going to move that we approve of the minutes of the previous session.
Second.
Commissioner Driehaus.
Yes.
Commissioner Summer-Odumas.
Yes.
Commissioner Reese.
Yes.
Thank you. All right, let's get to our presentations. So this is Black History Month, and so we have a presentation of a proclamation honoring the month itself, and then we are going to move into the individual recognitions by the county commissioners. So commissioners, we're going to start with the first proclamation, and I will start out, and we're alternating. Commissioner Reese, you have it first?
Yep.
Yep, okay. Very good. This is a proclamation recognizing February as Black History and African American History Month. Whereas the Hamilton County Commissioners recognize February as Black History Month, also known as African American History Month, and that this month is a time to better understand the contributions made by African Americans to the United States of America.
And whereas, recognizing the dearth of information on the accomplishments of Black Americans, in 1915, Dr. Carter G. Woodson founded the Association for the Study of Negro Life and History, now called the Association for the Study of African American Life and History.
Whereas under Dr. Woodson's pioneering leadership, the association created research and publication outlets for Black scholars with the establishment of the Journal of Negro History in 1916 and the Negro History Bulletin in 1937, which garnered a popular public appeal.
And whereas in 1926, Dr. Woodson initiated the celebration of Negro History Week, which corresponds with the birthdays of Frederick Douglass and Abraham Lincoln.
And whereas 50 years later, in 1976, this celebration was expanded to include the entire month of February. And today, Black History Month garners support throughout the country as people of all ethnic and cultural backgrounds discuss the Black experience.
Whereas this month is also a time for all of Hamilton County to celebrate the heritage of our African American residents.
Now therefore be it proclaimed that the Board of County Commissioners of Hamilton County, Ohio, does hereby recognize the entire month of February as Black History Month in all of Hamilton County. Right, and now to the fun part. So we, every year, recognize individuals in our community that have contributed in one way or another. It's really a very diverse group of individuals with very diverse contributions to the community, but you will hear how important all these individuals have been to the progress in our community, particularly related to Black History Month. So I am going to start, and as we read off the proclamations, please come to the dais to be honored and recognized. And Judge Trotter, you're first. Lucky you, huh? So I have a proclamation in recognition of Judge Janea Trotter Bratton. Whereas the Hamilton County Commissioners recognize February as Black History Month, and then it goes on, there's some common language in all of the proclamations. And then we go on to say, whereas Judge Trotter Bratton is a lifelong resident of Hamilton County, growing up in Forest Park and now residing in Bond Hill. And whereas Judge Trotter Bratton graduated with a bachelor's degree from the Ohio State University, then went on to earn her Juris Doctorate from Salmon P. Chase College of Law in 2008. Whereas Judge Trotter Bratton began her legal career as an assistant prosecuting attorney with the City of Cincinnati Prosecutor's Office. Through this position, she realized her passion for ensuring justice, qualified, fair, and diverse judges in our court system. And whereas after serving in her position in the prosecutor's office, Judge Trotter Bratton worked at her own practice for 5 years, then went to be a lawyer in the Cincinnati civil rights firm of Gerhard Stein and Branch. And whereas Judge Trotter Bratton was elected to the Hamilton County Municipal Court in 2019, fulfilling her lifetime goal of becoming a judge. And whereas Judge Trotter Bratton co-chaired the Hamilton County Democratic Party's Judicial Committee for 6 years and oversaw the most Democrat judges being elected to the bench in 2018 than any other year in our history. And whereas Judge Trotter Bratton served as the first Black female president of the Cincinnati Bar Association for the 2023-2024 year, and whereas Judge Trotter Bratton has been awarded the NAACP Foot Soldier in the Sands Award and the Cincinnati Women's Political Caucus Outstanding Achievement Award, in addition to be recognized as the YWCA Rising Star, Cincinnati Business Courier's 40 Under 40, and Wise Woman of the 100 Wise Women Program. Now, therefore, be it proclaimed that the Board of County Commissioners of Hamilton County does hereby recognize the invaluable contributions of Judge Janaea Trotter Bratton to the community, and does hereby proclaim February 20th, 2025 as Judge Janaea Trotter Bratton Day in all of Hamilton County. I do want to give this since we just.
No, I thought she takes.
There we go. Yeah, please say a few words.
Good morning, everyone. I want to thank President Driehaus and the other commissioners for this honor. I do what I do because I love what I do. I love the people of Hamilton County, and I love to be able to make contributions that make our society better and that make our legal system work better for everyone. So I thank you for honoring just what I have a passion to do every day.
Thank you. Judge, we're going to take a quick photo.
Oh,
This is going to take a minute.
yeah, why don't we put everybody together?
Everybody together.
Yeah,
That's going to take some time. All right.
yeah.
Commissioner Summer Adumas?
Okay, thank you so much. Unless somebody has, I know I have one person that needs to leave. Do you guys need to leave or anything?
Can you hang around? Okay. Okay.
What do you want to do, President?
Well, I don't know. It's going to take some time to do the photos. Why don't we do, let's do the first round and then go down and take 3 pictures, and then the next round and go down and take 3 pictures. Let's do that just to expedite. Okay.
Sounds like a plan.
That's the plan.
Okay. Thank you so much and for everyone coming. And if we're talking about Black history, I just have a couple words to say because we have to look at history. And the celebration of Black history started here for this board in 2019. When I became elected official in 2018, my first year I came in January. And then it was the end of January, I said, what about Black History Month? We don't do it. Okay, so when I came on, I realized there was no celebration. Immediately in February, I started the acknowledgement of 8 strong Black men, and in 2020, 8 strong Black women. The following year, each commissioner selected honorees. I realized the public needed to know and needed to join this celebration. So when you look outside of these walls, you'll see the colors of Black History Month on our Hamilton County building. So we decided we wanted everybody to celebrate at the same time. So that's how we came about with Black history. Now, my first honoree is Stephen Hightower. Would you like to come? I want the camera to get you as we read. And it was very easy to choose him. And when I think of Stephen Hightower, I immediately think of a visionary, one who continues to strive for the top, but not forgetting from where he's come. So I'm going to read some of the proclamation. As was said earlier, the first part is on every proclamation. Whereas Stephen L. Hightower, President and CEO of Hightower's Petroleum Company, HPC, has performed more than $1.7 billion over the past 5 years. Providing energy solutions. A self-made entrepreneur since 1979, Mr. Hightower grew his Ohio nationwide-based wholesale fuel distribution company into an international energy solutions enterprise, covering the entire energy value chain from petroleum supply to energy solutions. And whereas Mr. Hightower's blue chip customer base include Duke Energy, General Motors Corporation, General Motors Corporation, the Kroger Company, FedEx, Scana, Ford Motor Company, UPS, Honda, Con Edison, Nissan, ATT, United Rentals, JLL, Dominion Transportation, Pepco Utility, and the state of Ohio, amongst others. Whereas Mr. Hightower just released his first book entitled Fueling from Zero to 1 Billion, a guide for entrepreneurs. And whereas Mr. Hightower has extensive skills in developing and operating business enterprises, managing global supply chains and rapid growth strategies while navigating governmental and regulatory approvals. And whereas Steve has penetrated the upstream markets and is delivering crude oil and marketing bulk oils globally. And whereas HPC provides bulk deliveries, mobile refueling, emergency response, and features the HPC MasterCard fleet card for commercial retail purchases at wholesale process. HPC also provides LPG, LNG electrical charging stations through Hightower EV Solutions, biofuels, and ethanol. Hightower has been active in the development of clean power generation in sub-Saharan Africa, with a recent focus on South Africa waste-to-energy products. And whereas Hightower serves at the pleasure of former presidents Barack Obama and was reconfirmed by President Trump with 2 appointments: the Department of Interior, the National Park Foundation, and Department of Energy's National Petroleum Council. Those appointments are continued under President Trump. And whereas Hightower is a recipient of many awards, the 2021 NMSDC MBE of the Year Award and 2010 Black Enterprise Magazine's Industrial Service Company, I need water, Company of the Year, as well as the 2018 Rainbow Push Living Legend Award and 2019 Duke Energy Supplier of the Year Award. And whereas Hightower was also involved with Power Africa, an initiative by former President Barack Obama to increase the electrification on the continent of Africa, and served in 2 trade missions with the U.S. Department of Commerce and the U.S. Department of Transportation secretaries to Ghana, Nigeria, South Africa, and Mozambique. Now, therefore, be it proclaimed that the Hamilton County Board of Commissioners recognizes the dedication and commitment of Mr. Stephen L. Hightower to the residents of Hamilton County. Be it further proclaimed that the Board of Commissioners of Hamilton County, Ohio, does hereby proclaim Monday, February 24th, 2025, as Stephen L. Hightower Day in Hamilton County.
First of all, I want to thank you, Commissioner Dumas. Actually, it's overwhelming, you know. To be here, to be recognized by Cincinnati is a big deal. Coming from Middletown, often there's headwinds, you know, as it relates to, you know, where you're from and why you're here. But I tell everybody it doesn't matter where you sleep because the world is my playground. And there's nothing better than being able to reach back and teach. And that's why I wrote a book such that those things that I've learned along the way, I can pass on and it could be memorialized forever. And giving others the mindset and the audacity to know that you can succeed, regardless what somebody call you, whether it's DEI or MBE or DEA, it doesn't matter. Because what you have to do every day is get up, go to work, service your customers, and do it again the next day. And you take care of your customers will take care of you, and there's no legislation, no individuals that can stop you as long as you're doing what you're supposed to do and you're taking care of your customers every day. Good. So I really, really appreciate you thinking and giving me this honor today. We're also, you might see some cameras going on around. This camera crew is from France. They're doing a documentary on Hightowers Petroleum Company and myself. This is their second time here in the U.S. doing a follow-up. So God is blessing.
Yes.
And just proud to be able to be here. Thank you.
Thank you. Oh, okay. Yeah, you want a proclamation? Thank you. There you go, sir. Hopefully I can get a picture before you leave.
We're going to take a picture after this third one.
Yep. Okay. First of all, I want to thank my colleagues for the selection today for this program. And I want to also acknowledge Commissioner Dumas. Obviously, it was before I got here, for having an event that would go on to honor Black heroes and sheroes throughout our county. And many of the people that are being honored today, and this is an excellent selection. I know a lot of you, we only can have so many. Steve Hightower and I have been friends, almost like family, and he was on my radio show, but his biggest thing, like you said, coming from the janitor to global, it's just amazing. And certainly Janaea Trotter-Ratton, I knew her Trotter, who just has been in the community for so long. We're super proud. So I'm proud of everybody that's here, and I thank my colleagues for doing it. I'm a little different. I want to take our time because we don't know what's going to happen after this. We have to really stop and acknowledge the folks that have really impacted this country, this county, in this world. And they can't be limited to any acronyms. These are folks who have really made a difference. So I'm going to start mine off. I always start everything off with the good Lord. And so my first person is Reverend Dr. Donald E. Jones, Sr. Reverend Dr. Donald Jones, Sr., these glasses on because I really can't see, has demonstrated extraordinary faith, leadership, and service throughout his life. And whereas he's born in Charleston, West Virginia, and was raised in Columbus, Ohio, Dr. Jones pursued a theological education at Cincinnati Bible College and Seminary, earning multiple degrees, culminating in a doctorate of ministry and strategic leadership. And whereas Dr. Jones delivered his first sermon on August 20th, 1980, and faithfully served as assistant pastor at Southern Baptist Church before becoming pastor of the Greater New Hope Missionary Baptist Church, where he has led there for over 30 years. Dr. Jones has served. Yeah, tell Siri, look up Dr. Jones. Dr. Jones has served as moderator of the Cincinnati Missionary Baptist District Association, an officer of the Baptist Ministers Conference, and president of the Ohio Baptist State Convention Congress of Christian Education, where a scholarship in his honor has awarded over $100,000. Whereas, as a testament to his dedication and philanthropy, he has been a valued member of various prestigious area organizations, including the NAACP, the Board of Directors for the Cincinnati Community Action Agency, Queen City Foundation, Red Cross, and he also humbly serves as the assistant chaplain at Children's Hospital. Whereas Dr. Jones has been honored with numerous awards, including the Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Award in Religion, the Urban League's Glorifying the Lions Award, the Rob Portman Leadership Award, and the Talbot House Community Service Award. Whereas beyond his professional achievements, Dr. Jones is a devoted husband to Michelle West Jones and a proud father of 3 and a loving grandfather. And his daughter's here somewhere. I don't want her to stand up, be recognized. Give her a round of applause. I'm going to add that as we're fighting the opioid epidemic, Reverend Dr. Jones is heavily in leadership in helping to fight that epidemic, and the church and the Black community, and we thank you for that service, seeing you on the front lines in many, many meetings. Now, therefore, be it proclaimed that the Hamilton County Board of Commissioners recognize the dedication and commitment of Reverend Dr. Donald E. Jones, Sr. to the residents of Hamilton County. Be it further proclaimed that the Board of Commissioners of Hamilton County, Ohio, does proclaim Friday, February the 28th, 2025 as Reverend Dr. Donald E. Jones Sr. Day in all of Hamilton County.
Thank you so much. Just want to say thank you to the commissioners for this honor and recognition, and I am humbled by the presence of all of these recipients of this honor. I am a servant of the Lord Jesus Christ, and my life is invested in investing in the lives of people. God bless you.
I got to give you Dr. Jones. Dr. Jones, I got to give you a proclamation. And we're going to all, I guess, everybody takes a picture. Thank you.
Old habits.
Old habit. It's only been a month. It's only been a month and a half. Old habits.
I just want to say I've got the gavel.
You got the gavel. And the seat is too low for me. I knew something was wrong.
All right. Our next honoree is Deborah Alsop. Debbie is, would you please, there you are, please come forward. So I've known Debbie for a while and wanted to recognize all your work in the community for families, for children, for the span of many, many years. You're a leader in Wyoming, Ohio, and a leader in this county. And it is really a pleasure and an honor to recognize you today. So this is a proclamation in recognition of Deborah Alsop. Deborah Alsop graduated with a bachelor's degree from Virginia State University, then moved to Hamilton County to receive her master's degree in community planning from the University of Cincinnati, after which she began her career as a human services planner. And whereas Ms. Alsop worked for the United Way of Greater Cincinnati for 29 years, where she dedicated herself to programs for children and youth. And whereas Debbie Alsop was named Woman of the Year in 2019 by the Cincinnati Enquirer and is often referred to as a champion for children, acting as an advocate for some of the most vulnerable citizens in our county. And whereas Debbie Alsop served as the first African-American president of the Wyoming City School Board of Education. She also served on the Cincinnati Preschool Promise Board and the Great Oaks Board of Directors. Whereas Debbie Alsop earned a Leadership Legacy Award and was named a Visionary Board Leader by the Leadership Council of Nonprofits to honor her outstanding vision and achievement as chair of the Preschool Promise Governance Committee. And whereas Debbie Alsop served as the Executive Director and CEO of Family Forward, a neighborhood-based resource center for schools, students, and their families, and the community for more than 14 years, from 2007 until her retirement in 2022. Whereas Debbie Alsop dedicated her skills and experience to the betterment of children, parents, and families in school systems across Hamilton County throughout her entire career. Now, therefore, be it proclaimed that the Board of County Commissioners of Hamilton County does recognize the invaluable contributions of Deborah Alsop to the community and does hereby proclaim February 21st, 2025 as Deborah Alsop Day in all of Hamilton County.
Thank you, Commissioner Driehaus, Dumas, and Reese. I really appreciate the honor, and I am very humbled. Congratulations to my fellow honorees. I am really, really humbled by being in your presence. When I moved to Cincinnati 53 years ago, I came with my luggage and with my mom. I knew no one in Cincinnati, Ohio. So I thought that was pretty brave, and I came to go to the University of Cincinnati. Since that time, I've made many, many friends, and I've had many and various interests. But I really do believe in the power of giving and trust and leadership. And so I have been very pleased to serve this community, Hamilton County, my hometown of Wyoming, and I have also lived in the city of Cincinnati. So I also would like to thank my lifetime support, James Alsop, for his supporting me in my many and varied activities. And again, thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Okay. My next honoree is Mr. Daryl Haley, if you want to come forward. And I have a special name for him when I thought of who to honor, and it's the innovator. He looked at the foundation of transportation and he wanted to make it better, and I feel that you have. I'm going to read the proclamation. Whereas Daryl Haley serves as the Chief Executive Officer and General Manager for the Southwest Ohio Regional Transit Authority, Metro, which provides fixed routes, access paratransit, and Metro Now on-demand services in Greater Cincinnati. And whereas Mr. Haley worked in the medical supply, distribution, and financial industry for nearly 30 years, where he earned many awards for his leadership in operations, sales, and profit management, including serving as the operations leader at Crocker Fells, Chief Operations Officer at a supplier located in Dallas, and Vice President of Citigroup. And whereas he began his career at Metro in 2006 as Director of Development, before assuming the role of Executive Vice President and Chief Operations Officer, where he was responsible for transit service planning, development, scheduling, operations, and maintenance. And whereas Mr. Haley holds a BA in Business Administration from the University of Cincinnati and is a graduate of Withrow.
Oh,
The greatest. The greatest.
Okay, I'm waiting for that.
that's right.
He is a member of the Conference of Minority Transportation Officials and American Public Transportation Association and the Ohio Public Transportation Association, OPATA. Whereas Mr. Haley has received numerous accolades for his leadership and service, including being recognized by the Cincinnati Business Courier as the 2023 CEO of the Year and the recipient of the Nostra Familia Award from the Ohio Latin Affairs Commission, COMTO's Thomas G. Newsom Leadership Award, OPATA's Leonard Ronis Leadership Award, NAACP's Game Changer Award, and has been recognized by Cincinnati Magazine as a Power 300 leader. And whereas Mr. Haley is a 30-year member of the music group, the Mystics, where he sings baritone. The quartet has sung in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame in Cleveland. He is married to his wife, Kelly, and has 4 sons and 9 grandchildren. Now, therefore be it proclaimed that the Hamilton County Board of Commissioners recognizes the dedication and commitment of Mr. Daryl Haley to completely transform transportation for the residents of Hamilton County. Be it further proclaimed that the Board of County Commissioners of Hamilton County does hereby proclaim Sunday, February the 23rd, 2025, as Daryl Haley Day in all of Hamilton County.
Well, I'd like to first give honor to God, who has given me strength and vision to find my purpose in life. I want to thank my wife, who has been my partner and my strength to get me through the many years that I've had to serve. My family, my sons, I couldn't be more proud, and hope that my parents are proud of me as well. To each of you commissioners, I want you to know that we all see you. We all see you. We all see the work that you do. And our community is better because of each one of you. So thank you very much. I have a short story. When I was 16 years old, the bus allowed me to get my first job. Grew up in Evanston. My job was 7 miles from my house. Without the bus, I would not have had that opportunity. Sometimes we don't need a handout or a hand up. We just need an opportunity to show that we can compete and that we can give back. And I now get the opportunity to give that opportunity to others within our community. Thank you very much. We really appreciate it.
Thank you. Commissioner Dumas, you forgot the other resolution. Yes. Making it where he's not allowed to retire. I think we got a 3-0 vote for that.
Yes. Right.
Okay, well, my next person is the Honorable Judge Nicole L. Sanders. Before I get into the proclamation, I just want to say that Judge Sanders, before she was a judge, she said, I'm going to do all this with drug court. Nobody, wanted to hear about drug court. And she said, hey, I'm getting ready to take it to the community. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. She got elected, and I remember inviting all of us to the steps of the county where you were able to get the Ohio Supreme Court head of justice from another party to come down here, because she said there's a judge named Nicole Sanders that said she just won't give up, and announced a major grant. It was a game changer and is a game changer for us. So with that, I want to say, whereas Judge Nicole L. Sanders earned a Bachelor's of Science degree from the University of Cincinnati and a Juris Doctorate from the University of Cincinnati College of Law, later serving as an assistant city prosecutor and assistant city solicitor and chief counsel in the City of Cincinnati's law department. She was appointed as a common pleas magistrate in Hamilton County Juvenile Court in 2013, where she worked closely with individuals battling addiction, leading her to her role as the presiding judge of the only full-time statutorily created drug court in Ohio. Whereas Judge Sanders has successfully led an adult drug treatment court with over 2,000 participants, securing $2.7 million in federal grant funding, modernizing drug treatment and recovery court legislation, and obtaining a chemical dependency counseling certification. Whereas she has received numerous accolades, including the 2022 Champions of Recovery Award, and serves as a Cincinnati Bar Association trustee and a One Ohio Recovery Foundation Region 2 Commission member. Whereas Judge Sanders actively mentors young lawyers, presents a national specialty court conferences that she does, and serves as an all-rise faculty trainer for specialty courts across the nation. She's a proud member of Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated. I didn't hear nothing. The NAACP, the Ohio Black Judges Association, the Potter Stewart Inn of Court, and the National Bar Association. Therefore, be it proclaimed that Hamilton County Commissioners extend their deepest appreciation to Judge Nicole L. Sanders for her tireless dedication to justice, rehabilitation, and community service, as well as being a devoted mother and grandmother and lifelong resident of Cincinnati, Ohio. Be it further proclaimed that the Board of County Commissioners of Hamilton County, Ohio, does hereby proclaim Monday, March the 3rd, 2025, as Judge Nicole L. Sanders Day in all of Hamilton County.
First, I would like to say thank you to Commissioner Reese, Commissioner Driehaus, and Commissioner Dumas, as well as my friends, family, and staff members that are here. None of us who are honored accomplished any of these things alone, and so I just want to recognize them also. It is an honor and a privilege to be recognized for work that you love to do. I love my community, and I love taking care of people. Only what you do for Christ will last, and so I consider my job as a public servant also a ministry. So thank you for allowing me to continue to do my work in the community that raised me. And I also went to Withrow.
The greatest.
So thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I needed help. I'm so used to going down that way. I'm like, what? Okay.
All right, don't make me use my gavel. Don't make me use my gavel now. We're going to continue on. We've got some other awardees that we're very excited about. So I'm going to do the next one. It's Alan Woods. Please come up to the podium, Alan. So Alan, as I'm sure you all know, is a co-founder of Mortar. I went to see Mortar back in 2016. I don't know if you remember that, but I came to visit to get an idea of what you were doing in Over the Rhine by way of lifting people up that had barriers to accessing their will to, or their desire to be an entrepreneur. And you and your team developed a curriculum, brought folks in to your space, and created this energy and optimism for people that had not really seen that kind of chance before. And so it is a thrill to celebrate you. Most recently, though, I've seen Alan up in Walnut Hills with the expansion of Mortar. And so you're doing great things throughout the county, throughout other communities. And I'm just thrilled to have you here because what you're doing is so important to the citizens of this community. And you are somebody that we celebrate and we talk about by way of where we're moving. You know, you're one of the younger people in the group, I think, but you're the future. And so it's really exciting to have you here. So I'm going to read a couple things about Alan. So whereas after growing up in Indiana and receiving a degree from the International Business College, Mr. Alan Woods moved to Hamilton County, where he has resided for over a decade. Whereas Mr. Woods' creative entrepreneurial spirit has been evident since his youth, when he opened his first company as a child by utilizing a used camera to take and sell pictures to the local community. And whereas Mr. Woods co-founded Mortar in 2014 as a business development company originally to offer support for residents in Over the Rhine who face barriers to opening small businesses. Whereas Mortar has now expanded to be active in 17 neighborhoods in the region and has become the blueprint for a regional expansion in 15 cities across the United States. Whereas Mr. Woods was recognized as a 2016 Cincinnati Business Courier 40 Under 40 Business Leader, and in 2017 he received both the John F. Barrett Entrepreneur Vision Award and the Echoing Green BMA Fellowship. And whereas Mr. Woods' dedication, concern, and care for the local business community propelled him forward in his career, and his creative expertise has led him to work as a mentor for budding students at the University of Cincinnati Center for Entrepreneurship since 2022. Whereas Mr. Woods' business knowledge, combined with his resilient disposition and creative mindset, provides many community members with resources and an avenue for starting and sustaining small local businesses. And whereas Mr. Woods' public speaking skills have earned him the spotlight on NBC Nightly News, the Black Enterprise Podcast, People Magazine, Inc. Magazine, and TEDx. We've got a celebrity in the ranks. Now, therefore, be it proclaimed that the Board of County Commissioners of Hamilton County does hereby recognize the invaluable contributions of Alan Woods to the community and does hereby proclaim February 22nd, 2025 as Alan Woods Day in all of Hamilton County.
I stand as a testament that God can do wonders with anybody. As somebody who barely graduated high school because I wanted to do things my own way, I understand that same stubbornness and tenacity is what makes me a great entrepreneur. I'm excited to be a kid from Indianapolis who has found a home here in Cincinnati and been welcomed into Cincinnati. And I'm super grateful for the opportunity I get every day to stand on the shoulders of every revolutionary Black person who came before me, who is creating change, real change in the community. I'm grateful that it's February 22nd, because that is when we have our Future History Now event, where we are actually celebrating Black History Month at the Mercantile Library. We have some authors coming in who have a book that's called 15 Cents on the Dollar, How America Created the Black and White Wealth Gap. That really informs the work that we do at Mortar and how we can close that wealth gap. So I'm super grateful for this opportunity and thankful for my wife for dragging me to Cincinnati. We were supposed to be here for 5 years, and I started Mortar and messed that up. So I'm grateful to be here and thankful for this opportunity.
Great. I have another honoree, Judge Richard L. Rich Moore. If you could come forward. And so I had a name for him as I was thinking about honoring the ones that I had chosen. And his was the Trailblazer. When you're the first, no one can set the standard but you. They follow after you. And so they're looking, the public, the community is looking very closely for you being the first. And I know you will continue to do well. So I'll read the proclamation. Whereas on November the 5th, 2024, first-time candidate Richard L. Rich Moore won a seat on the 1st District Court of Appeals, which serves all of Hamilton County. He made history as the first African-American elected to a seat on the 1st District. And whereas prior to joining the bench, Judge Moore was a partner with the law firm of Frost Brown Todd, where his litigation practice included defending clients in matters arising from claims of various forms of workplace discrimination. Prior to joining Frost, Judge Moore was a partner of the law firm of Voorhees, Satir, Seymour, and Peace, where he began his legal career as an associate in its Cincinnati office. And whereas during his over 30 years in private practice, Judge Moore was a frequent lecturer and author on topics related to employment law and previously served as an adjunct professor of legal ethics at the University of Cincinnati. Whereas Judge Moore, the youngest child of Richard and Jean Moore, grew up in Kennedy Heights, attended Walnut Hills High and Calvary United Methodist Church. And whereas Judge Moore went on to Bowling Green State University, he crossed the burning sands into Alpha Phi Alpha fraternity. Nobody? Epsilon Theta chapter. He was president of Epsilon Theta chapter as well as president of the Black Greek Council and was involved in many other campus organizations. Judge Moore was awarded the Presidential Service Award in his senior year. He graduated from Bowling Green in 1987 with a Bachelor of Science degree in Business Administration. And whereas Judge Moore later enrolled at the University of Cincinnati College of Law, while in law school, Judge Moore was invited to join the Law Review, one of the highest honors a law student could receive. He also served as president of the Black Law Student Association. He received his JD from UC Law in 1993 and passed the Ohio bar exam that same year. And whereas as an attorney, Judge Moore was selected for inclusion in the Ohio Super Lawyers since 2018, Cincy Magazine Leading Lawyers in 2021, and Best Lawyers in America since 2020. Judge Moore was also previously named as one of the Cincinnati Business Courier's 40 Under 40. And whereas during his legal career, Judge Moore has been a dedicated public servant. He has served on numerous boards, including roles of president, board chair, co-chair for many organizations. Judge Moore is also a former trustee of the Cincinnati Bar Association and the Cincinnati Bar Foundation. Whereas Judge Moore is married with 2 grown children and lives in the same Kennedy Heights neighborhood where he grew up. Now, therefore be it proclaimed that the Hamilton County Board of Commissioners recognizes the dedication and commitment of Judge Rich Moore to the residents of Hamilton County. Be it further proclaimed that the Board of County Commissioners of Hamilton County, Ohio, does hereby proclaim Tuesday, February the 25th, as Judge Rich Moore Day in all of Hamilton County.
Thank you, Commissioners. I appreciate the kind words, and most of that stuff in there is true. But it would have been about twice as long if I would have included all the losses. If I'd have kept all the mistakes in there, you'd have been here till next Tuesday. But through God's grace, here I stand. And I want to thank you for this opportunity. And I want to thank the citizens of Hamilton County for the opportunity to serve in this role. And I hope that at the end of my term, I will make you all proud. So thank you very much for this honor. I appreciate it, and God bless you.
My next person is Norwood Councilwoman Susan Hoover. Whereas Councilwoman Hoover is a dedicated mental health therapist and lifelong volunteer whose steadfast commitment to community service and advocacy has profoundly impacted countless individuals. Whereas originally from Rochester, New York, Councilwoman Hoover became a proud member of this region after attending Earlham College and later moving to Cincinnati, demonstrating an enduring dedication to education, social service, and community well-being. She was devoted for over a decade to cancer family care, providing mental health therapy to cancer patients and their families. In 2009, she expanded her impact by establishing a private practice in Mount Lookout, where she continues to serve her community. In response to the challenges of COVID-19, she answered the call to public service, making history in 2019 as the first person of color elected to Norwood City Council at large, receiving the highest votes in the city's history. Whereas now in her second term, the councilwoman has been a catalyst for social and economic progress, securing over $4 million in grants for vital projects and fostering an inclusive community. Councilwoman Hoover has advanced diversity, equity, and inclusion by creating a DEI advisory board, collaborating with local police and fire departments to enhance diverse recruitment, and passing an anti-discrimination ordinance. She has engaged residents through community conversations, voter registration initiatives, and partnerships with local organizations, demonstrating her unwavering commitment to empowering the citizens. As a member of the OKI Regional Board of Directors, Councilwoman Hoover champions environmental sustainability, expanding recycling initiatives, and establishing a warming shelter in Norwood. Now be it proclaimed that the Hamilton County Commissioners extend their deepest appreciation to Councilwoman Susan Hoover for her tireless service to the community of Hamilton County. Be it further proclaimed that the Board of County Commissioners of Hamilton County does hereby proclaim Saturday, March the 1st, 2025, as Councilwoman Susan Hoover Day in all of Hamilton County.
Thank you. I just want to say I feel a little bit like I'm in the wrong room. There are so many phenomenal people here, and it is truly an honor to be recognized. I really want to thank you, commissioners. The pandemic was really rough on all of us. I was minding my own business with my head down, doing my mental health practice, and the stress and anxiety and quite simply trauma that my clients were experiencing, both white and black, was palpable. And I realized that I had to do more than what I was doing in my little office. So this is not my space. This is not my comfort zone. So I want to thank everyone. There's many people I'm looking at who have held my hand and have given me advice and have supported me. And the core of everything I do is collaboration. Nothing exists in isolation. And I want to thank everyone in my community. Norwood is a phenomenal city, and we are in the midst of a beautiful renaissance, and I hope that you will come by and visit us. Thank you. Okay, me. Yay. All right, ready? 1, 2, 3. One more. 1, 2, 3. Thank you. Thank you. Okay, all right, we're gonna go right here. 1, 2, 3. Okay. You wanna get yours? One more. Yes, yes, yes. Yes.
Congratulations.
All right, Commissioner Dumas, you have one more?
I have one more.
All right, Commissioner Dumas.
This has been great. That's all I can say. I have one more honoree, and our honoree is U.S. Attorney Kenneth L. Parker, and he is not here. And my chief of staff has been working with him. He was very excited about coming, really wanted to be recognized. We're not able to get him this morning, and I'm thinking, and I'm pretty sure I'm right, he was recently fired on the 18th from the federal government by our administration that's in Washington now. And he assumed, we're thinking that he assumed that he could not accept this proclamation because he's no longer a U.S. attorney. But as far as I'm concerned, he is and has been and has done great work. I see him, and I knew eventually there would be somebody that would be close, which I don't know him that well. I've watched him from a distance, that we would know that really was impacted. And I think he's the sacrificial lamb, of course, a casualty of war. And I know that he will be victorious. I know God has great things for him, and he's paved the way for a lot of people. And as I said, I watched him from a distance. And his integrity is so impeccable. But I'm going to go on and read his proclamation. Whereas Kenneth L. Parker was sworn in November the 23rd, 2021, as the 45th United States Attorney for the Southern District of Ohio, President Joseph Biden nominated Parker on September the 28th, 2021, and the United States Senate unanimously approved his confirmation on November the 19th, 2021. And whereas he was appointed an Assistant United States Attorney in 1999, designated to the Organized Crime Drug Enforcement Task Force Division of the office, and later named the district's criminal chief. This is what you do to be fired. He has also served as chief of the Organized Crime Drug Enforcement Task Force, also as a judicial law clerk for the late Honorable S. Arthur Spiegel, and as an adjunct professor at the University of Cincinnati College of Law. And whereas Kenneth is a lifelong resident of Cincinnati, Ohio, he graduated from Tuskegee University in 1994 and earned his law degree from Indiana University School of Law in Bloomington in 1997. And whereas the United States Attorney Kenneth Parker is the Chief Federal Law Enforcement Officer, you notice I'm not saying was, I'm not saying that, so I'm sorry. He is the Chief Federal Law Enforcement Officer for the Southern District of Ohio, serving more than 5 million residents in 48 of the 88 counties in Ohio. Parker oversees the investigation and litigation of all criminal and civil cases brought on behalf of the United States in the Southern District of Ohio, as well as those matters that may need to be defended on behalf of the nation. Those cases include violations involving narcotics, public corruption, civil rights, financial, cybercrime, firearms and gun violence, health care fraud, child exploitation, national security threats, immigration, human trafficking, and tax crimes. And whereas he has always believed in maintaining a strong connection to the community, Parker assisted with the Department of Justice's weed and seed efforts. The office, the Federal Executive Board of Greater Cincinnati, as well as the City of Cincinnati, recognized him for his tireless dedication to the program. And whereas Kenneth Parker is always dedicating a substantial amount of his free time to speak to and mentor youth in the community, encouraging them to stay away from drugs and other issues that cause problems, he firmly believes that crime prevention is an essential part of enforcement. More specifically, Parker often makes presses that an ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure when it comes to serving as a federal prosecutor. And whereas Kenneth Parker has served as president of the Cincinnati Northern Kentucky chapter of the Federal Bar Association and the president of the Black Lawyers Association of Cincinnati, he is a proud alumni of the Summer Work Experience in Law program and served as chair of the board, where he worked to expand the program from Cincinnati to the cities of Hamilton, Dayton, Columbus, Ohio, and Louisville, Kentucky. Whereas Parker resides in Cincinnati with his wife and twin daughters. Now, therefore, be it proclaimed that the Hamilton County Board of Commissioners recognizes the dedication and commitment of U.S. Attorney Kenneth Parker to the residents of Hamilton County. Be it further proclaimed that the Board of Hamilton County Commissioners does hereby proclaim Wednesday, February 26, 2025, as U.S. Attorney Kenneth L. Parker Day in all of Hamilton County.
Commissioner?
Yes.
Yeah, thank you, Commissioner. I just wanted to say a word as well. I too know Kenneth Parker. What a tremendous leader for this community. He has been working on behalf of this community for many years, and I too heard the news that he had been let go by President Trump, and that is a real travesty for our community because he has been such a leader in the area of justice, and so I share your enthusiasm for the resolution or the proclamation celebrating him and giving him a day down here in Hamilton County. Commissioner Reese.
Thank you. Thank you for the proclamation. Ken Parker and I have been knowing each other from almost the beginning. And I want to thank you for the proclamation because I don't want him put into a box of what they are demonizing as DEI. This brother he has come from the bottom, worked his way up, got the credentials. I remember when he first got the job, just in that office. And then even had to overcome cancer. His brother went through cancer. And they said when you get colon cancer, it's pretty much over. Liver cancer, he survived that, had a liver transplant, and still was doing his job. So I just want to highlight that if people put out, his credentials speak for itself. LinkedIn cannot hold his resume. And here's an example of someone who did what we tell people to do: go to school, get grades, don't get in trouble, work your way up, go to college, do what you're supposed to do, go to an internship, work yourself up from the bottom, get in the ground floor, keep working, move up, keep accomplishing, win cases so you can move up. This is what was supposed to be the American dream. And even when he got sick, he never gave up. He's super dedicated. So I had gotten word that, he had told me that it was coming. But again, I want to make sure, and I thank you for the proclamation, because we can make sure in the record book this man's credentials, and it should be in the libraries, because some little kid right now is in elementary school that could one day grow up and be a Ken Parker. So thank you very much. Oh, it's my turn. It's your turn. I'm sorry. Okay, so these are I got last two. So I'll just do both of them so they can, okay, great. First is another young man who worked from the bottom, Mayor Aaron Brown. For Forest Park Mayor Aaron Brown has demonstrated an unwavering commitment to education and community leadership, earning a bachelor's degree in political science and criminal justice from Miami University, an associate of arts and social science from Miami University, and a master's of community planning from the University of Cincinnati School of Design, Architect, Art, and Planning. He currently serves as the Racial Justice Fund Director at the Greater Cincinnati Foundation, where he oversees a portfolio of over 35 grant recipients, administers more than $1 million in annual grant contributions, and develops and implements funding strategies to support impactful community leadership initiatives. Mayor Brown has previously served as the Program Manager and Development Associate at Mortar just left, Cincinnati, where he managed the Entrepreneurship Academy and developed programming for an alumni network for over 400 members. In 2019, Aaron was elected as a city councilman for Forest Park, Ohio, the second largest city in Hamilton County, Ohio, and later ascended to the role of mayor, where he has championed key initiatives, including strengthening city governance through the passage of critical legislations. As mayor of Forest Park, Aaron has spearheaded major city development efforts, including approval of a 15-acre vacant lot for 100 homes. Mayor Aaron is deeply committed to the community and community service and professional organizations, serving in leadership roles with the Mill Creek Alliance, Urban League of Greater Cincinnati, Ohio, Cincinnati Young Black Professionals, New Leaders Council of Southwest Ohio, Urban Land Institute Fellowship, Urban League Young Professionals of Greater Southwest Ohio, and the Ohio Young Black Democrats. And I believe he is the youngest mayor in the history of Forest Park. Therefore, be it proclaimed that Hamilton County Commissioners extend their deepest appreciation to Aaron Brown, Mayor Aaron Brown, for his tireless service to the community of Hamilton County. Be it further proclaimed that the Board of County Commissioners of Hamilton County, Ohio, does hereby proclaim Thursday, February 27th, 2025 as Mayor Aaron Brown Day in all of Hamilton County.
All right, thank you, Commissioners Reese, Driehaus, and Dumas. When I woke up this morning, I didn't think that I was going to be given my own day, but I'm truly honored. I'm truly honored to be recognized, especially amongst such reputable colleagues, that everyone was honored here today. I can only say all glory to God. I'm trying my best to live up to the example of servant leadership modeled by Christ, but also my great-grandmother, Eloise Cobb Leaks, who recently passed in 2023. She has served in her church for over 80 years, and she modeled and demonstrated to me the importance of service, not only to your family, but to your community as a whole. And although we don't do it for the accolades and the recognition, it is good. It is good to feel that. But we know that service is the rent that we pay for our time here on earth. So what she demonstrated to me was that you have to have a love for others and model empathy. And that's something that we are actually not seeing much of out of the federal government today. But we do know that the local government is very important. And I would like to give the example to the next generation that will come after, the same example that was set for me, that service is important and we must show up in our community in order to take care of ourselves and one another. So thank you all for honoring me today, and it's been a pleasure speaking before you all.
Okay, and finally, we begin with the Lord. We're going to end with the Lord. Reverend Dr. Brian Wesley Walker. We couldn't fit all this on one proclamation, but I do want to highlight something. Dr. Bishop Brian Walker when we had COVID and people were dying, and you have Walker Funeral Home, you said, come on over here, because even though, I'm a funeral home, I don't want to see any more funerals from COVID. And we had a press conference at your funeral home showing the caskets that people were really dying from COVID. And at that time, the Black community, we were having a hard time getting the vaccination. And you stood up and said, come on over here, I'm standing. And it was at that press conference that I announced that I wanted us to look at having what is now known as the 513 relief bus. It was yourself and Joe Mallory from the NAACP. And they said, can it work? Would it work? And now we have over 30,000 people that we've helped, because that's the kind of person you are in the community. And then lastly, you have been honoring people, the unsung heroes in the Black community. You took your own money, partnered with the radio station, Radio 1, and every month you're honoring a Black-owned business, Black pastors, community leaders with your own money to put a light on. So it's 365 days of celebration. So I want to thank you. Reverend Dr. Bishop Brian Walker has dedicated his life to faith, education, and community service, embodying leadership and compassion. Dr. Walker pursued higher education at Wheaton College, earning a Bachelor's of Science in Communication, followed by a Master's in Theology from Cincinnati Christian University and a doctorate in ministry from the United Theological Seminary. He serves as the 4th senior pastor of the historic Bethel Baptist Church in Walnut Hills, a ministry dedicated to uplifting the broken, neglected, abused, and fostering an inclusive and diverse congregation. Dr. Walker has spearheaded numerous initiatives, including a renovated food pantry and the Family Fun and Back to School Bash, serving over 800 children and families. He engages with the community through a Cincinnati FM radio station on Radio 1, collaborating to address critical issues and improve lives. Dr. Walker serves on the board of One Ohio Region 2, and we thank you for that, to combat the opioid crisis, is a proud member of the NAACP and an esteemed member, you heard him earlier, of Alpha Phi Alpha Fraternity Incorporated, exemplifying its mission of manly deeds, scholarship, and love for all mankind. We also know him from Walker Funeral Home, one of the top funeral homes in this region. Beyond his professional service, Dr. Walker is a devoted husband to the First Lady, Ms. Keisha, she's videoing back there, and a loving father to their 2 children. I'm going to add that he was once a great basketball player and also a roller skater.
That's right.
And dance battle competition.
You know it.
Leader. Now, therefore, be it proclaimed that the Board of Hamilton County Commissioners recognize the dedication and commitment of Reverend Bishop Dr. Brian Walker to the residents of Hamilton County. Be it further proclaimed that the Board of County Commissioners of Hamilton County, Ohio, does hereby proclaim Sunday, March 2nd, 2025, as Reverend Bishop Dr. Brian Wesley Walker Day in all of Hamilton County.
Thank you. Thank you. To God be the glory for all the things he has done. I want to, first of all, thank the Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. I want to thank my wife, Keisha Walker, Bishop, because she found a parking space so I wouldn't be late. Vice President Dumas, I appreciate you. I love you. I love your humor. I love your directness. I don't think you're afraid of anybody, and you'll tell it like your TI is. I thank you, President Driehaus, for all your wonderful work going back and forth Columbus for the One Region Ohio. Last but not least, Alicia Reese, I appreciate you. I thank you. I thank you for those rough conversations that you and I have, those conversations with the community. Like she said, there was pressure that we were putting on you personally about the deaths and things of that nature. You came up with this crazy idea. I still don't know how you came up with the 5013 relief bus. Still trying to figure it out. Even when we put pressure on you about downtown Cincinnati, we felt like this wasn't our city, and you came up with another crazy idea, the Black Walk of Fame. So I want to appreciate you. Thank you. Like the mayor said, I was not thinking today was going to be I was going to get a proclamation. I was just coming down here because you said you was honoring me, so I appreciate you and I thank you so much, and thank you all, commissioners, ladies, commissioners. You wear it well, you look well. We are praying for you, and we are so proud of you. And thank you, Ms. Elise Reese, once again for this proclamation. Appreciate you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay. No, we're just going to keep on going. Just keep on going. All right. Thank you again for everybody that came in, many of whom have since gone, but congratulations to everybody on the recognition today. It's really important that we lift the voice of the African Americans leading in this community. So thank you, Commissioner Dumas, for bringing it many years ago and the continued efforts. We are going to move on to public comments. Do we have any public comments? No, okay. Comments and motions of commissioners. Commissioner Summer Dumas.
Thank you so much. The only thing I have for this week is the Professional Development Academy, AI Leadership Academy. We're on our third week. This was our break this week, so looking forward to the next three. Thank you. That's all I have.
Thank you. Commissioner Reese.
Yes, thank you. I know you're going to probably talk about Anderson Township, but we had a great meeting out there, and I was happy to support the resolution our board came forward on, supporting all townships about the marijuana money and making sure the state's not trying to stiff the townships. So I thought that was great. Also, I was out in Lincoln Heights and participated in a rolling car event, protest that they had, and we are still getting answers. More video has come out. I believe Evendale now has put their body camera video on the websites, and I also want to thank Laughlin School Board. They have released some of their video, and I know we've had Mr. Aludo is pulling together all the entities, the prosecutor's office, the sheriff's office, Evendale, all videos, and everything that we have received in our office, we've turned over to Mr. Aludo, all questions, because there were a lot of questions people had sent to us. We've sent those over, and looking forward, he'll probably talk about that, having when we're going to have the day. I know we said 14 days to be able to have a written document with the answers to the questions, and if there were different laws that are on the books currently that were violated. So I know he'll have an update on that. Also, wanted to reiterate, I'm still getting calls from people, and these aren't regular. Of course, everyone looks at their Duke Energy bill and get, oh my God, what is going on? But my understanding, there's been some rumors, potential unofficial reports, and I think we need to get to the bottom of it, that there is some overbilling. And so I want to get to the bottom of it, and if it's not true, it needs to get out. And if it is true, it needs to be addressed. But people are saying that they're getting, these bills have jumped, and there may be some overbilling. And so I don't know if there's an investigation on that, but we need to get an update on what is happening regarding that. A lot of people are suffering as it relates to that. So I wanted to make sure that that is highlighted. Also, in addition to that, the 513 relief bus will be kicking off soon. I think it's February 27th, I believe. It'll be in Woodlawn. We'll be out in Woodlawn. The other thing is there are a lot of potholes out here, and I'm talking about more than the normal. I've been around. I've been in government now. I don't want to date myself. I started as a baby. That's why I started as a little baby. But I remember a time if, potholes, they couldn't, if you got 1 or 2 calls for potholes, you better get them filled or somebody getting voted out of office. These potholes are everywhere, and I don't know who's in charge. I know each municipality has to deal with their own potholes. I'm a resident in the city of Cincinnati, so I know if I'm on a Cincinnati street, City Hall would be responsible. But even Erica, my office, she was getting on the highway, I believe in Laughlin yesterday or the day before. It was a big hole. After she dropped her kids off to school, she tried to swerve around the hole and ended up sliding on black ice and ended up in a ditch. This stuff is very, very dangerous. Now, I don't know if our engineer has anything to do with it, because I don't want to say we don't have anything to do with it, and then we do have something to do with it. But if we do, I need a report on these potholes and anything that we have any control over. I want to know a timeline when these potholes are going to be filled. This is dangerous. This is not the normal. And we haven't even had, I remember times we had worse winters. But these holes, this one, somebody said a hole can fill a whole car in it. This has got to, we've got to get something done on this. And I know that we passed issue 7 to get more money to fix the streets and all those things. So I want to get a report on these potholes, who's responsible, so that I can tell citizens, no, it's not the county, you got to call your local person, or yes, it is the engineer's office, you got to talk to that person. So I'm getting so many calls, and I'm seeing it for myself. These potholes are ridiculous. They're on highways, they're on byways, they're on exit ramps, they're on main streets. They're everywhere. The potholes are taking over, and we've never had that before. We've had potholes, but not a takeover like we got going on. I don't know if do we have a new salt that's out that's tearing up quicker? We need to know, and if it is that the salt we want to use? So I asked Mr. Aludo to try to get us some kind of report on who's responsible for the potholes and if it's anything with the county, when will they get filled? We've got to get that under control. So that's something that I wanted to make sure that I brought out. The Duke Energy piece is what I'm hearing from consumers, and also the potholes is what I'm hearing. Lastly, I want to make sure that we do inspect or help with the fire hydrants. And I wanted to make sure, because these neo-Nazi people were talking some different things, and I just want to make sure that the fire hydrants in Lincoln Heights and everywhere else too, if it, but particularly because of the incident, that the fire hydrants does have water, they are working, and I don't know if Mr. Ludo can talk to that, if that is the fire hydrants that we inspect as a county. So those were the things. Oh, my last thing I wanted to say, we had a presentation. It was a good presentation this week, talking about homelessness and shelters and the wealth gap. And I want to be clear, because I got a lot of calls. In Avondale and some of these other black neighborhoods, there seems to be a convergence of grants. I don't know who these groups are, but they all got grants. I'm telling you, people are talking to me about it. And they're running to Avondale. I want to know how many grants is going into Avondale. We got more grants than the people in Avondale have any money. And they're coming to them and they're asking them, they all got a survey. It seemed to be a convergence. I don't know what it is. All these groups, and everybody's got a survey. Everybody want to study the problem. And I'm just saying, we cannot be the experiment. We cannot be the lab rat. Avondale has a high unemployment, a high poverty. We already know the numbers. And I'm concerned. I want to make sure when they talk about redistributing funds, they're not talking about expanding funds. Redistributing funds, that could affect the YWCA. You're going to take their funds and put it to something else. That could affect the Urban League of Greater Cincinnati. You're going to take their funds and put it to somewhere else. That could affect all these different groups who barely got funds anyway. We need expansion. Anybody coming to Cincinnati, Hamilton County, please do not come unless you have some money. We know the problem. We don't have the resources. And our board did, I think, a fabulous job. When we had a chance of $158 million, we went to work. We got it to the people. We invested in housing. I mean, we did the thing as a board. But all these people, every time I look up, somebody said they got a knock on their door and somebody they want their story for free. I said a ham sandwich and $20, and I got 15 calls and said they didn't even get the ham sandwich or the $20. But all these people saying they come to help Cincinnati, do not come here unless you have some money. We don't need you to meet with our corporate community. We've been meeting with them. We don't need you to meet with our nonprofits. We've been meeting with them. We need people who got some money that can put more money in. So that's what I'm concerned about, because that's what I've been hearing. And they're all over. Even the community council president told me, she said they running rampant. She don't even know who they are. They were all over town knocking on doors with an ID, said, I'm here to get your story, to get your data. So I just want to be clear where I'm coming from. If you don't have any money and you can't give us more money, then, we've got a lot of people that's got, YWCA got data, Urban League's got the data, all these groups. We don't need to be studied. We need some resources. So I stand firm on that. I'm not against, anyone coming, but I have some grave concerns based on what I've heard from the people. And they say, oh, we're talking to the people. Well, I must have talked to 218,000 of them that voted for me. We know what the people need. We just have limited funds. And we're trying to leverage those and get as many as possible. So just wanted to highlight that, because it's very, very, very serious. Because people are losing their homes. They're losing their apartments. They can't stay in apartments. They're losing their jobs. Even if you work for the federal government now, you're losing jobs. I asked Mr. Ludo the other day, is anybody from Hamilton County affected? Then the newspaper came out and said, we will be affected. So I know you'll have that in your report. These are very, very, very tough times. And the money is getting very, very low. and the policies are becoming more exclusionary of everyday people. So I just wanted to put that out there and clarify that, because people have been calling me saying, I didn't even get the ham sandwich. I didn't get those $20. They got my information for free. And so we've got to get a handle on it, and maybe the community council president, nobody should be going in Avondale without the community council president know, or Russell Harrison knows that you've been in Avondale. So I just wanted to bring that up. And I know, Mr. Ludo, hopefully in your comments, you can give some updates on some of the things I just brought up. Thank you.
Thank you. I have a couple of things. So we were in Anderson Township last week for our Thursday meeting. I'm grateful for the hospitality out in Anderson Township. Some of the citizens came out to join the meeting, so I was really grateful for that. We've got a couple more scheduled for the year, trying to be more accessible to the citizens in Hamilton County, to take our work to them, but also to hear about what they've got going on in their community. So I was thanks to Vicki Earhart in particular out there, and Josh Girth, who attended the meeting. I wanted to highlight something that happened a couple days ago. So we had an alert go out from Hamilton County Public Health, the ICRC, and the City of Cincinnati. It was a public health alert regarding overdose activity. We had 7 overdose deaths over the span of 3 days in Hamilton County, which is a very high number. And so HCRC just met yesterday, and we were talking about what we think might be going on, all for the purpose of trying to get information out to the community to save lives and make sure that people know that there is something going on with the supply in this community. I think people might be using and not realize that carfentanil or fentanyl is being mixed in a very high amount right now in the drug supply. So we issued the alert not only for individuals that might be using, but also for their families, to make sure that they are aware that things are very deadly right now out in the community. And we've seen over the last couple days an even more increase on top of what the alert was about. So just want to, it's like a red flag warning to individuals in this community that something's going on, and people need to be testing. They need to have Narcan, and families need to be aware of what's going on. The other meeting that I had, the solid waste Policy Committee met yesterday, and we talked about the organic study. This is something that was in the 5-year plan that we all approved of, and so wanted the Commission to know that in May we're going to get a much more in-depth report about the opportunity for organic collection in Hamilton County, all trying to divert waste from the landfill to extend the life of the landfill, and use those food scraps and organics to create compost and generate some revenue. And so that's coming. That'll be in May. But I'm looking forward to that. We are in collaboration with the City of Cincinnati on that. I too was going to talk about. Well, let me do. So just an announcement. State of the County. I think I've said this before. Is next week, February 26th. It's on Wednesday at Memorial Hall. Doors open at 5. The speech is at 6. I know I've mentioned this because I promised a time frame. Related to the state of the county, and I'll try to stick to it. 35 minutes or so is what I'm sticking to. But it'll be hopefully a nice celebration of the work that we've done over the past year collectively. And then, Jeff, I too was going to ask about the meeting next Tuesday. The expectation is we're going to have a conversation about what happened in Lincoln Heights and invite some of our partners in to give us an update, to let us know, what's going on by way of some of the investigations. So could you elaborate on that in your comments, to just let us know who's coming in and what we should expect at the Tuesday meeting? That's all I have. Thank you. I'm going to turn it over to you.
Thank you, Commissioners. So just on that particular note, so the board has asked the administration to follow up on various questions related to the demonstrations in Lincoln Heights and Evendale over the past couple of weeks. We are in the process of doing that. We've met with the Sheriff's Office, we've met with Evendale, we've met with the Prosecutor's Office. We're going to be coordinating with Lincoln Heights as well to try to answer as thoroughly as we can the questions that all 3 board offices have asked. Some, as the board is aware, the sheriff had a press conference the other day where she talked about turning certain matters over to the prosecutor's office, in particular, to assess whether any whether or not there were any criminal violations where arrests should have or could be made. So there are things in terms of answering the report that we won't have the ability to answer because they will be subject to those investigations. But as I've met with the sheriff and I've met with Evendale, while I believe both of those agencies are looking to do more in-depth investigations, there's still a lot of questions that the board has asked that we will be able to provide a consolidated answer to or response, at least to get that information out there. So as it relates to the meeting on the 25th, at this point in time, I've talked with the prosecutor's office, talked with the sheriff, I have talked with Evendale. I believe all of them have indicated that they would be willing and able to come to the meeting. Commissioner Driehaus, I don't want to speak for you. I think you had a
I did reach out to the mayor of Lincoln Heights, and she is also coming.
Okay. In terms of that, Commissioner Reese had asked about timing of a report. So we are well underway with putting together the responses to the questions from all of the board offices. I hope to have that to you by this weekend, certainly in advance of the meeting on the 25th. So as soon as I can get it to you and get your response, I'll get it to you.
I have a question. Were you done on that?
On that particular point.
I was just wondering, were you aware of that press conference that McGuffey had on Tuesday at 3 o'clock? Were you made aware that she was having a press conference?
I had heard that she was thinking about doing something, but I wasn't aware exactly when it was going to be. So I had heard through the sheriff's office that they were thinking about doing some sort of press event, but I did not know exactly when it was going to be.
I think that's something that we should know. Even if we can't attend, we can look on the, I think should not have happened without us knowing about it, even if we might have still been in a meeting. Secondly, to have Evendale and the sheriff department come in, and we had all suggested that, but if they are going to come in and say, we can't answer because we're in an investigation right now and all that, I mean, we definitely have to get to the bottom of it, but I don't want it to be a waste of my time and they come in and say, Evendale or the sheriff department, that, we're in the middle of this and we can't really answer that. And I mean, there may be some just general questions they can answer because we've seen it on the video. But I guess, Madam President, I'm just wondering, we can have them come in, but in the middle of, I just don't want to hear, I can't answer that,
Well,
I know the mayor was saying she would come, and yeah, go ahead.
Well, and I think I understand what you're saying. There are investigations going on. We've all called for these independent investigations, and I'm glad that that's happening. And so related to what's happening by way of those investigations, they may not be able to comment. However, I do think it's important to get an update from Evendale, from the sheriff's office, from Lincoln Heights, from the prosecutor's office, just so not only do we have a clear understanding of what's going on, but the community has a clear understanding of what's going on. And so I continue to think it would be helpful to have the meeting. I understand what you're saying, but I think the more information we provide, I think the better. So I'm in favor of continuing on. I didn't hear you say that you're opposed to that, but it may take a little bit of a different context because the investigations won't be concluded. But I don't feel like this will be the first and only meeting, but rather the beginning of an ongoing conversation about what happened, make sure we all have the same information, and then as the investigations wrap up, I would expect that they would come back and report back to us.
I agree with that.
Okay.
Can I? Yeah, I have some concern because for me, I know this is not our intention, but I don't want it to be a dog and pony show. I mean, these people are very upset. And my expectation was, I sent an email February 11th following up to my comments to Jeff. And I said, I'm following up to you about my comments requested made today regarding a full investigation on what happened over the weekend with the neo-Nazi group invading of Lincoln Heights and Evendale on the overpass of I-75. I contacted you on Friday and you instructed that Nick Crosley, our EMA director, who works with all the jurisdictions, would contact me. After driving to Lincoln Heights on Friday, that's when it happened, attending a town hall meeting on Monday and seeing several concerning videos on social media, I stand and join with Lincoln Heights residents and calling for a swift investigation. I've asked my chief of staff, Veda Stevens, to share many of the questions that they had sent us, along with many residents that many residents have expressed, in addition to state laws that appeared to have been violated without any consequences. This is dangerous and requires immediate attention with all hands on deck, including but not limited to county administration, our emergency management agency director, the sheriff's office, Evendale Police Department, Laughlin Police Department, and the prosecutor's office. I am calling for this process to be transparent and for you to work with the leadership and citizens of Lincoln Heights every step of the way. We cannot have this tone and behavior in Hamilton County. I would like to receive an update report within 14 days on the status of the situation that can be shared with the citizens. My point to all of that, and all of us, and then we have a lot of state laws that my chief of staff, who happens to be a fellow at the Harvard Law Program, so this is a great legal project for him. He found a lot of Ohio Revised Code potential ORC violations. He went into all of these codes. We received back from the process, and this was before the press conference, so I agree with Commissioner Dumas in terms of I didn't know anything about it either, not that, you know, just maybe from you all or someone to tell us, but right after that, Connie Pillage, the prosecutors, emailed us back immediately. This was February 11th, and said thank you for including us, because they had not been included. So I'm expecting when they come here to have some structure of here are the questions, and I think you all also provided other questions. I just said anybody that's got a video, anybody that has questions, no sense to send it to me and sitting in my office. I had it all to Jeff Valuto so you can pull all those pieces together and come with some answers. Because people kept the heat on, Evendale has now brought out the body cam. And I'm gonna say that body cam was disturbing. I mean, we have a difference of opinion. They thought it was great. I thought it was disturbing that you would have a police officer and you would see them get into this box truck that's against the law. They don't have no seatbelts back there. You put them in the box truck, and then you say, we was trying to get them out of harm's way. What about the harm's way of the citizens who live here of Lincoln Heights? We not trying to get them out of harm's way? And then to take it to a school, you led them to a school. And you know that's against state law with those weapons they had. Then you got out and said, how can I help you? I mean, it was a customer service. I mean, this was like valet service. Can we go back and get your car? Well, we'll go and get it and I'll drive it back. I ain't never heard of that. The police go get your car and bring your car over here. And they said this was a great thing. So I just hope Tuesday, I don't want to come in here and be filibustered. I don't want to come in here and say, okay, we know, yes, state law needs to do some other things, but you got to take that to the Capitol. I want to tell the citizens, we got to understand who has the authority. But everybody's pushing it off. Go to the state, and go over here, and go over there. But there are some things that could happen right here. And I believe those are the things that people are concerned about. You keep seeing these videos, and they're very, very disturbing. They're very disturbing for me. And they wouldn't have done it if Laughlin hadn't said they gonna release the video, the school board there. So I just would like to have some kind of document. Here are the laws, and you know, here's the questions that you guys had that we can at least have on our website. Also hard copies for people. What we know today, and have all the different entities. Don't come running in here, you ain't seen the document. The document they should already have seen and have answered questions so that we can give this over. People are thinking that, oh, these guys came and it's okay and we made a statement, not just us, but everybody. We made a statement, and now we're gonna go back to business as usual. There were some disturbing things. Now, I'm not a lawyer, But these people can Google now. You can't fool the public anymore. They can Google it. They're legalese, they're unofficial lawyers. They can read. And there was a case that went to the Ohio Supreme Court, which is very conservative, in Columbus, where they said it was ethnic intimidation. They came back and took it to the Ohio Supreme Court, and they said, yes, it was ethnic intimidation for Columbus. So there's some cases out there, and I just hope on Tuesday, I don't want them to come and give me that same thing. We've looked at ourselves and we've done nothing wrong. We need to get down to some things that the people have seen. So that's where I just wanted to highlight that. I know that each of us have sent our stuff over, and we've been at the town halls, we've heard from citizens, but I don't want to just check no box. And I know that's not our intention, but I want to let Jeff know that's not the direction I want us to go. So I know you have all the information and you pulled a group together, and I'm looking forward to seeing the answers in writing.
Yeah, so, and Commissioners, I would just say again that I think we're doing a pretty good job of answering the majority of the questions that the board had. We're still working through it. I know the prosecutor's office is working through those that specifically relate to questions of legality, the ORC questions, et cetera. Commissioner Reese, that you had passed along. Those that are questions that may take a little bit longer to get at than this coming Tuesday. So there may be certain questions that we just don't have the answer to yet, but I think there are a lot of them that we will. And I can tell you that in my conversations with both the sheriff and Evendale, they both indicated to me that they understood that dynamic between things that are the subject of investigation, but other questions that should just be open for public discussion and do not get into the subject of an investigation. And my conversations with both of them have indicated that they are willing to have that constructive discussion with the board as opposed to just reciting from a...
So the idea is to get an update on what we can answer and then know that we won't be able to answer every question, but we will be able to answer some of the questions.
And hopefully have a timeline for when we can be able to answer additional questions.
Okay. All right. Jeff, do you have additional items?
Yeah, well, there are a couple other questions that I'll answer what I can today. I do know I've talked with the engineer about the pothole situation. This is throughout the region that we're seeing this. And you're correct, Commissioner, in the fact that we've certainly had colder winters. We've had more snow in the past. I think what I'm understanding from the public works folks that I've talked to is that this has just been a very bad combination of heavy rains followed by long periods of freeze and then temperatures increasing again. So you get that rain, freeze, thaw cycle that have just happened in a very bad way that have opened up a lot of really bad potholes. In terms of the responsibility, the engineer would take care of things that are on county roads, and typically it would fall to the municipality or township to do the municipal or township roads. So if there's a specific one that you're thinking of, we can help you figure out the responsibility there, because I know there are some big ones throughout the community.
Can I just say on that, I don't know a specific one. They're everywhere. That's the problem. We don't have one. Could we maybe get a report maybe from the engineer, because they're the engineers, and don't we have those satellites and all that? I just want to know, what are we responsible for? So when people call, and then how many potholes, and we need to have a pothole task force that when you've got this, you get ready to go, because is it going to be here for a month? Is it going to be a hole there for a week? Are we talking the hole going to be there for, when do we go back out and fill these holes up? Because it's tearing up people's cars. It's not just tearing up people's cars. It's really a safety issue. I mean, people are unsafe. So I need to know.
I can talk to the engineer.
Because I don't want to
about
say,
it's
the city of Cincinnati, it's not us. I need to know, what are we responsible for? And they've got trucks and stuff that's out there all the time. And what is the timeline for filling the potholes is what I'm trying to figure out. So I can tell people, hey, they'll be out there in a week. They'll be out there in a month. When will they be out there? But I think we need that's kind of a task force. Sure. Based on what you're saying. It's a new thing.
And for county roads, that would be the county engineer, and I'm happy to coordinate with Eric to get a report back from him on on that.
Oh, and Eric is often at our meetings.
I know. I was hoping
He's
he
not
would be here today. That's what I.
not today. So next, he'll likely be here.
Yeah.
As we go. So let's maybe have him come in either at a staff meeting. He's honestly mostly here at the legislative meetings, and get a report, an update from him on what's being asked for. I think that's
Thank you.
reasonable. All right, Jeff.
And I believe the city has a pothole map. I remember AFTAB talking about it. You might want to check or somebody check their website for the city, but I don't know outside of that. So.
Yeah, they've got a whole system set up at the city.
Right.
All right, Jeff, does that conclude your
That
report?
would conclude my report.
All right, so Commissioner Reese, consent agenda item number 1 is yours. So I'm going to have you introduce that, and then we're going to go over to Nick Crosley, who is in the room and is going to comment to item number 4. So, Commissioner Reese, item number 1.
Yes, item number 1 is a resolution appointing Jacqueline Taggart, who will be working in my office, and she's here, Jackie Taggart Boyd. Happy to have her. And of course, I never got a chance to introduce officially Erica Hillman, who's also been working in our office. So would love to have this passed.
Are you making that motion?
Yes, I am.
All right, I'll second that motion. A motion to approve of item number 1.
Yes.
Commissioner Dreehouse?
Yes.
Commissioner Summer Dumas?
Yes.
Thank you.
All right, and then item number 4 is a budget adjustment for grants through the EMA. Nick Crosley is here to report on what this is, and I know this is a little out of our custom of just running through the consent agenda items, but given our previous conversation about what's going on at the federal government, I thought it would be interesting and important for us to understand what grants we're getting from the federal government in different areas, how important those grants are, and what it would mean to not be getting these grants, because that's what we think might be coming down. So Nick is here to talk a little bit about item number 4.
Right, so this, Nick Crossley, Hamilton County Emergency Management and Homeland Security Agency Director. So this grant is the Urban Area Security Initiative grant. So this is a Homeland Security anti-terrorism grant that we received from about, I believe they received it from about 2000 to 2014. Then statistically, the metro areas were removed from the program by the Department of Homeland Security. And then they have a formula they use to figure out the threat level. And then a few years ago, 2022, we were added back to the program at a much smaller amount. And so we are currently managing the 2022 Urban Area Security Initiative grant, the 2023, and now the 2024 grant. So, and then we also receive the Emergency Management Performance Grant, which is a much smaller grant. So our average UASI is what we call it, grant is about 1.4 to 1.6. And then from the Emergency Management Performance Grant, we receive an average about $200,000. MPG is a dollar-for-dollar match, so our budget matches the grant we get from the federal government. It's a reimbursement grant that tends to run a little bit behind, both due to the federal government's elongated budget setting process that's gone farther than they expected each year, but it all balances out. And then the Urban Area Security Initiative similarly has to wait until Congress passes a budget to be approved. And so currently the way we work this is this grant is it's a City of Cincinnati, Hamilton County grant. We manage the grant just based on our expertise in managing these Homeland Security grants for the last 24 years, 25 years. And so basically what we do is we work with our first responder partners. It's critical to the many specialty teams we have in the county, everything from the bomb squads to the SWAT teams to emergency management has received some grants to enhance our mass care in case we have an event. We work with the urban search and rescue, the Hamilton County dive team. So a lot of these capabilities, especially the more sophisticated, more expensive equipment, is funded via these Homeland Security grants. I will make the point that while we use the grants to buy the equipment a lot of times, the real funding comes in from the then support that goes into both from a personnel perspective, which is all local government personnel, but also maintenance and other things. So for example, the county now houses multiple specialty teams. We house their equipment for them at a cost to us, as you know, with our warehouse in Forest Park. And so they're critical that these grants continue. We make that case every time when we're talking to our representatives from Washington. And I have no indication that that will stop. Obviously, I actually just had a phone call talking to somebody about what's going on at the federal level, trying to figure that out. As of right now, I think we're fine. I've been working with Jeff to, since it's a reimbursement grant, just analyzing the county's exposure and limiting that as we move forward. Because what happened originally was they did initially order a freeze on every grant. We're all aware of that. That's been in the media. Then they quickly released that hold. In our grants now, which I was going to send Jeff an update. Previously, we would submit a reimbursement request, and this is real money, anything from, we'll send a reimbursement for $500 all the way up to, I'm about to submit one for $300,000 from the FY22 grant. So it was taking about 5 days for so the state would get it, the state would put it in the system, everything's okay, they would send it to FEMA. Take about 5 days for FEMA to release the funds back to the state. It is taking, it's only taking a little bit longer now. They say it's about 2 weeks. And so they've gone from sort of an automatic review of the reimbursement request to they are reviewing them one by one or in batches at the federal level. I don't quite know how they're doing it, but they're doing a much more thorough review. I don't anticipate any issues with our grants. It's a very focused grant. It's focused on anti-terrorism. It builds capability, again, across the response spectrum. There's cyber grants. There's all kinds of grants out there that we manage. And so I anticipate everything moving along. And so, again, we accept this grant. And then we have projects that are submitted for approval. And then once that starts, we'll begin the process of procuring that equipment.
Thank you. Yeah, I just wanted to highlight how important these grants are. I mean, I just got an email related to a story that's out, just came out on, I guess it's the live updates. Trump team plans deep cuts at office that funds recovery from big disasters. Staff at the office, a branch of the U.S. Housing Department that Congress uses to address the worst catastrophes, would be reduced by 84%. This is what I'm talking about. It's not EMA necessarily, but it is about big disasters and money that we need in our communities in response to catastrophic events. And that is your territory. It's also housing territory. So it intersects a lot of different agencies. But I guess the point is that the work that you're doing is really important. A lot of it is funded through federal grants. Just want to make sure that people are aware of the importance of that work and what it would mean to not have those kind of federal grants coming to this community.
Yeah, and when I say we're keeping an eye on the different arms, I mean, there is the FEMA line of both programs and support, but there's also HUD, there's SBA, and so as an organization, both through the National Association of Counties and the International Association of Emergency Management, when we're talking to the federal government, we're talking to them about all of these programs are a piece of that recovery. And housing, I would propose to you, is probably the most critical, especially when you have wide swaths of housing that's destroyed. That is one of the most critical programs that they have, especially in the realm of temporary housing and things like that, and then reconstruction. So obviously, I'll probably get a report saying this is what this means. And again, we work hard. We don't lobby. We're government. We educate our lawmakers on the impacts of this to residents of Hamilton County and Ohio, and encourage them to support the programs that support the residents of Ohio.
Thank you, and thank you for what you do. I'm just trying to point out the importance of it. Commissioners, any questions before I make a motion regarding item number 4?
I just had one question. As it relates to the percentage that Hamilton County might have to put in for instance, a $300,000 grant, it would differ if it was for HUD or FEMA. They may ask for 10% for HUD and 20% for FEMA, so it differs on that.
Right. So the Urban Area Security Initiative is fully funded, so we don't have a match on that grant. Okay. But post-disaster, yes, there's typically a 25% match by local government, unless that's changed by the president.
Okay. Thank you.
Reese, any questions? Okay. I'm going to make a motion that we approve of item number 4.
Second.
Commissioner Dreehouse?
Yes.
Commissioner Summer Dumas?
Yes.
Commissioner Reese?
Yes. Thank you. Thanks for being here, Nick. Appreciate it. All right, Administrator, can you walk us through the other consent agenda items?
Could I make one comment? Commissioner Reese brought up about the electric bills, and they are crazy. But I would just advise whoever is getting their bill to check your bill and make sure there's not a third-party billing entity on there. I found that it was on mine, it was on my son's bill, and so that also raises, they're supposed to ask permission for you to have a third party to deliver energy, but they're not asking permission and they're putting it right on your bill. So just check your bill. If it's on there, call Duke Energy and tell them you did not agree to this. That's all.
Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioners. Just walking through the remainder of the consent agenda. Item 2 is the administration's actions for January. Item 3 is an agreement related with the state auditor regarding the 2024 audit for $241,613. I'll skip over 4. You guys have already approved that. Item 5 are bid awards and contracts for the month of January 2025, $9.967 million. The vast majority of this is the renewal year for inmate medical through NAFCare, $8.7 million over in the Justice Center. Item 6 is a resolution accepting a credit card late fee at Fifth Third Bank for $29. Item 7 is the award of an agreement with Triton Services for repair of the Justice Center lobby or replacement of the Justice Center lobby, $344,500. Item number 8 is an agreement with Triton Services related to the contract for the first floor office reentry expansion, $529,000. Item number 9 is an agreement with Leo Brielmeyer Company for the law library stained glass repair, $343,000. Item 10 is an agreement with Triton Services for the replacement of the Justice Center fire pump, $227,800. Item 11 is the resolution accepting purchase orders of Hamilton County, $358,281. There's really only 2 here. One is the annual agreement with Ready, $250,000. The remainder is design services for a air monitoring shelter through environmental services. And Commissioners, we have several JFS items. We have a domestic violence services agreement with the YWCA, $660,000. We have a group home services agreement with One Trust Group Home for $100,000. Item 14 is a renewal of an agreement with Dee's Place LLC for independent living services, $500,000. Item 15 is an agreement with Step Higher Nella's Place for group home services, $450,000. Item 16 is a renewal and amendment with All For You 126 Inc. for group home services, $927,125. Item number 17 is a report of no objection to one liquor permit in Coleraine Township by the Sheriff's Office. Item 18 is monthly investment report for the month of January 2025 from the Treasurer. And Commissioner, that's just an accept for the record. Commissioners, that is the consent agenda.
All right, thank you very much. Commissioner Loomis, any comments or questions?
Yes, item 11, you said it includes Ready, some money that we're giving to Ready, correct?
That's the annual fee for Ready, correct.
Okay. And I'm wondering if Ready is the agency we should ask, or I should ask for. There are so many businesses closing. Like I just saw a couple days ago, 14 businesses closed in January, and before the new year, all these businesses are closing, the new ones are coming in. Is there any sort of report from Ready indicating why they think these businesses are closing? Of course, people don't have as much money to spend, and I don't want to assume all of that, but is there a summary on, we can't continue to ignore all these businesses that we're losing, because the highlight is all these ones that are coming. So I'd like to know, for the ones that we lost, do they have any summary or assumption of why that is?
Yeah, Commissioner, we can reach out to their research department and put it in the context as well of the normal churn of openings and closings, that type of thing. So, and to see if there is something going on right now that we would want to highlight, so we can absolutely reach out on that.
Thank you. That's all I had.
Thank you. Commissioner Reese?
Yes, thank you. I've got a couple of them. Just sticking on that topic of Ready, the $250,000 a year, and it's for membership. And we pay a lot of memberships. I mean, OKI, I think it was $293,000 or something to be a member. This $250,000. These are some high membership costs. And I do want to look into these a little bit more, because we have these memberships on different organizations, and we put them in as a line item. But then there's other organizations out here that we're not a member of, and some of them are good ones, and they have to go through RFPs and all this other stuff, and we just kind of automatically. So I do want to keep our eye on that as we go into our next budgets. I'm not saying these people don't do a good job, but there's some other people that also do a good job. The other thing is I wanted to find out again, when GE said they were leaving downtown and going, of course, downtown and Evendale is still in the county, but, you know, there was some jobs and promises and everything, and then it was always, to me, it was kind of, I think they got some money. Who got some money? You don't have to tell me today, but I want to know, out of that deal, there was some money that came out, and there was a lot of pressure to say very nice things, even though GE had made some promises that were not kept. And so, you know, I just want to make sure that we're just not brushing over. We want to keep these companies, but if they say they're going to do something, you know, I don't want to pay a membership for my job is to say nice things when they leave and people lose their jobs. That's not our role. Our role, I would think, and at least I would say my role, I'm not going to tell anybody it was their role. What I ran on and what the people elected me to do is to stand up for the citizens of Hamilton County, not entities or big business. Is to stand up and fight for them. So I was just a little concerned that during that process, it was a movement of trying to say nice things and don't come out with the truth. And, you know, I didn't like that. So again, you know, I'll go with it this time, but we got to look at this. This $250,000 for a membership. OKI, I think it was $293,000 to be a member. I mean, that's a lot of taxpayer money to be members. So I'm just concerned about that. And then I don't know if they keep the workforce numbers, but the federal jobs that'll be lost in Hamilton County is a big deal. These are people who pretty much in the middle class. They own homes probably, they got children in college maybe. A lot of them are not old enough to get retirement, or maybe right at the cusp of retirement, but won't get it now. I mean, these are some, you know, that's a devastation.
And Commissioner, they are looking at that issue for us. So once
Okay,
we do have some data on it, we'll get back to the board on it.
Okay, great. The other thing on here, I want to make sure I'm not voting for something, wrong thing. Now, on item number 7 and item number 8, I don't know the name of the company, but you know, the incident we had here on on a Thursday coming to work, and it's not a parking problem. People say, "Oh, it's just a parking problem." It was not a parking problem. It was an outlandish problem, and I want to make sure I'm not voting for the company to get money to bring the same people. This is not these companies, because I see Indiana on here, and I just wanted to make sure I won't be. I just want to make sure when I vote, because I won't be voting for that type of behavior. Okay, so that's not in 7 and 8. Okay, that's just another company out of Indiana. And then item number 12, I just want to just bring a highlight on. This is for the agreement with the YWCA of Greater Cincinnati, Inc., and the CEO was here earlier, Raquel Howard Smith, and I just wanted to highlight that this is a contract dealing with domestic violence with the YWCA and our Jobs and Family Services. So just wanted to highlight that as well. Not sure exactly what the amount is. Do you have the amount
Yeah,
on that?
that is $660,916 for item 12, yes.
Thank you. Just wanted to bring that to light. Thank you.
All right, thank you. I am going to make a motion to approve of consent agenda items 2 and 3 and 5 through 18.
Second.
Commissioner Dreehouse.
Yes.
Commissioner Summer Dumas.
Yes.
Commissioner Reese.
Yes.
Thank you. Is there anything else, commissioners? I know, this is a marathon session here. All right, I'm going to make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
Commissioner Dreehouse.
Yes.
Commissioner Summer Dumas.
Yes.
Commissioner Reese.
Yes.
Thank you.